Hey guys, welcome back to the Summer of Knives 2017. This is going to be the 3-blade rule. Now, it's not so much as a rule as it is more of a suggestion. I myself have a vast experience in using bladed items. I'm also a knife maker. So if you guys have been following the channel, you know I'm going to say it. So please go up to 3riverblades.com, check out the selection I have up there. Any purchase that you make, I'm much appreciative of it. My family thanks you. If you're going to buy any of the things that you see here, they were purchased on Amazon. Go down to the link below and click on the Amazon store. Alright, thank you very much for that. So, the 3-blade rule is something that I personally appreciate. I don't think I came up with it. I'm sure there's other people that came up with it. Probably people more experienced in the bush than me. But when I go out hiking, camping, trekking, whatever the case may be, I always try to have multiple tools with me. And they're not always the same tools, and depending on if you live in the city or you live in the suburbs, depending if you live in the jungle or you live in a wooded area or in a desert, it's all going to depend on where you live. There's a lot of things that you can get away with not carrying, and there's some things you absolutely cannot do without. Okay? This is going to be very subjective, and I know there's going to be a lot of comments because, again, your experiences are going to differ from my experiences. So if you have a comment, just put it down below. No big deal. Just try not to be a jerk about it. I know it's YouTube, so I'll get one or two of those. Alright, so what I'm going to talk about today is what I normally carry when I go out on a trek. Alright, so when I'm going out into the woods, I'm always going to carry some type of pocket knife. Now, this to me is an everyday EDC, pocket knife, belt clip, whatever you want to call it. It's usually some type of 3 to 4 inch steel. This happens to be the Hindra design 560 Hindra, and it's made by ZT, and I've used this a lot. This goes on my pants every single day. If it's not this one, it's probably going to be my Spyderco. And if it's not that one, it's going to be some type of cold steel. So whatever the case is, I'm carrying some type of pocket knife. Now, I don't want you to confuse pocket knife with multi-tool, because a multi-tool in essence is basically another pocket knife. Okay, it's some type of cutting device, only it has more tools. Now, I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on that, but can I replace this with this? And the answer is yes, you can. It's something small enough to carry in your pocket. Now, when I go out into the field, what I like to take is something that's good for slicing, something that's good for cutting, and then something that's good for chopping. Okay? Some of these items here, like this, is not going to be great for chopping. Alright, I've seen guys baton wood with a Swiss Army knife. I think it works if you need it to. But I'm not going to risk losing my blade for something like that. It's just retarded, in my opinion. I wouldn't even use this. This is a ZT. It's fairly expensive. It's not cheap. They make great products, but I'm not going to use that for batoning. This is my pocket knife. This is the knife that I'm going to use to cut my game, open boxes, MREs, Mountain House, making small things if I need to do some whittling chores, if I need to make traps. This is the knife for that. This is the knife that I want. Okay, I will never go anywhere in the woods without at least one blade, and the one blade that I would carry would be a pocket knife. Here's another multi-tool. Alright, this happens to be the Leatherman Super Tool. Again, I consider this to be one of my pocket tools. Alright, it has a blade on it, and what's great is that it has 2 blades on it. Alright, it has a saw, it has a whole bunch of things. Now, I know a lot of people will say, well, if you're carrying a knife, you carry a multi-tool with you. And yeah, you can, but let me explain something about multi-tools. And I've done that before in the past. A lot of the times, a multi-tool will be in my pack. So if I'm going out to the woods, I'm going to carry a multi-tool in my pack. If I have an EDC pack, multi-tool in the pack. The reason I don't carry a multi-tool on my waist or in my pocket is because it's heavy. There's really no reason for it most of the time. If I need it, I know it's in my pack or in close proximity, and I'll go and get it and use what I need, and that's it. Now, the thing I will tell you about multi-tools is if you're going into a wooden environment, there's not a lot of things on here that you're going to need. And let me explain that before you just blow a biscuit, all right? Everything that we take out into the field that's mechanical is from us. It's from human beings. So your backpack, your gear, your kit, your camera equipment, that's mechanical. That's why you need this, okay? This is a very excellent tool. You need this to repair those type of items. Everything that grows in nature does not need this. All right, you don't need all these tools. Now, it's great because to have this is a mechanical advantage over not having it. So for me, this is a pack item. It's not necessarily on the waist belt kind of thing. But again, great tool, and I consider that definitely a good piece of kit. Now, when I say slicing, and I just had to divvy it up in sections so it makes it easier for me to understand. Any type of slicing tool, like a belt knife, can do some other options. So if you wanted to use this to cut down saplings with a baton, you absolutely could. But a fixed blade in the woods is far superior to me than any pocket knife. Okay, that's how I feel about it. If I'm going on a trek or going into the woods for an extended amount of time, I'm bringing a fixed blade with me. Why? Because a fixed blade can do chores that are a lot, it'll make your life a lot easier in the bush. That's as simple as it is. A nice large fixed blade item, great in the field. Now when I say fixed blades, it doesn't matter what type you carry with you, but I will say that size does matter. That's what she said, but size does matter. Now this is the Wingman. This is a great cutting tool, or slicing tool if you will. This is a great tool. I love this tool, but again, it's great for skinning game, processing, doing all kinds of stuff like that. And I like this knife, and I carry it with me a lot of times. I also carry with me all these other knives as well. If you are a soldier, you're probably going to be carrying something like this, or a Marine, you're probably carrying some type of fighting knife that's a fixed blade. The idea behind this, and I don't want you to get all wrapped up in it, is that depending on your environment, you're probably going to have some type of small blade or medium blade on you to go into the woods. That's just 101, and I know a lot of people carry that. When it goes into cutting, it changes it a little bit, because a saw for me is probably one of the best tools you're going to get for cutting. Alright, this just happens to be a Ficus cheapo. You can get these at Home Depot or whatever, super lightweight. And you can get the silky saws, and I have over here, what's this, a Baco Laplander. Okay, you can get all these saws anywhere, so I don't want you to get confused with the name. But the thing about this is that this allows you to do very big chores with very little effort, as opposed to one of the chopping blades. All right, it's very intuitive to use. You have less chance of injuring yourself, and these saws, these folding saws, are extremely lightweight, especially if you get something in this size. This is the Laplander. All right, let's see if I could. I mean, this thing is super lightweight, and I know a lot of people like that. I would sometimes carry this. I'm not telling you I'm going to carry this every day. If I'm going out for a day hike, I'm not carrying this. I'm probably going to be carrying a fixed blade and my pocket knife, or a multi-tool and my fixed blade, and that's it. I'm not carrying all these tools, and the reason is because I don't plan to be out there for a long time, and depending on the trek or how long it is, I don't think I'm going to need all these tools. Now, experience has taught me, anything can happen, so yeah, always be prepared. But ideally, a nice medium size fixed blade and a multi-tool or a pocket knife usually does very well in the field when I go hiking. A saw is excellent, because I think that's one of those things where if you are going for a long extended period of time, if you are a bushcrafter, if you are somebody that wants to camp out, a saw is your best option as far as a cutting device, because like I said, if you have to pound a whole bunch of or cut down a whole bunch of trees with a knife like this, it's going to take you forever. The energy spent, the calories, not to mention the danger of trying to cut down a tree with a knife. All right, I know you can do it. I've seen it done, but ideally those guys are going to go home and take a shower and call it a night. They're not going to go stay in the woods for a long extended period of time. And if you think I'm joking, you can go watch the TV show Alone. I don't know if you guys watch that. Watch Alone. You can see where the saw is an amazing project maker, okay? Because there's nobody there after you spent days out in the field without any type of sustenance, no food, no water. Oh, well, they have water, but when you're running low on calories or you just hike 20 miles, try swinging an axe, see how that works. So, excellent tool. I'm a big fan of the saw. Now, let's talk into chopping, because I know a lot of people like the chopper. All right, I'm a big fan of the chopper. This is Bark River. You guys have seen this before in the video. I like the bolo design. I like the bolo design because this is about the size that I like as far as a carry option. All right, it does come with a belt loop, and you can use this nice leather sheath. I would say, honestly, the chopper is a great one-tool option if you had no other choice. I think that there are many options, obviously. This happens to be Condors. Alright, this is a parang. The British are really good at this. They really like the parang, and of course, obviously, the indigenous tribes of Malaysia. And as Americans, though, we tend to use the axe. Alright, and let me talk a little bit about the axe. This is an excellent axe from Gainesville Brooks. I think this is the Small Hunter's Axe or the Forest Axe. I'm sorry, this is the Forest Axe. These are excellent axes. These are excellent tools. And if you're somebody that lives in the woods, an axe is an excellent tool. But for me, the weight is an issue because you're carrying a lot of weight. And the thing about it is, all right, I'm going to go into the woods. I'm going to make camp. So you may use it once or twice and then call it a night, but you're carrying all this weight. So you have to decide, is this the tool for you if, let's say, you're not from Canada? Okay, I'm just saying, like, I live in the Northeast. There are wooded areas, but do I need to be swinging this thing all day long? Do I need to be chopping firewood? Am I a bushcrafter, or am I just out there for the day? So that's going to decide, that's really going to be your determining factor. And I like the axe. I'm a big fan of the axe. I used to chop wood all day long when I was a kid. These things are very dangerous. All right, you have at least a 4-pound head or 3-pound head, and you're swinging this down towards your feet or towards your legs. And if you don't have a good grip on it, it could slip out of your hands and hurt somebody else. So you have to be very careful with the axe. Now, I think it's an awesome option. I think that if I was somebody that was never coming home, or if I was going to go to, let's say, my bug out location or something like that, I would probably want an axe. The great thing about an axe is that you actually have two tools in one. You have a hammer, you have a cutting, a splitter. You could also use it for cutting. I know there's a lot of guys that use tomahawks because you can take the head off and use it as a game processor. I've seen that done. Great tool. Is it worth the wait? Is it worth the option? That's completely up to you. Let's talk about machetes. Machetes are a great tool as well. Mostly used South America or Southeast Asia. Great to have where I live. Not necessary unless you're doing like clearing land or something like that, which is basically what a machete is for. It is for vegetation, okay? It's not for the deep woods with heavy forest, okay? In that case, I would use an axe and a saw. This type of tool is an excellent tool if you live in that type of area. If it's a vegetation such as maybe a swamp area, or if you live in one of those countries like South America where it's a lot of viney, or Southeast Asia where there's a lot of vines and such, that type of thing, you might want to go with a machete. Great agricultural tool. I'm a big fan of it, but I think that it's not necessary for where I live. Maybe for where you live. Now I put the E-tool, or the new E-tool, I should say. This one's made by Gerber, up there because it is a cutting option. It is a chopping option. I know the military shovels have this one has a serrated edge, and this one's supposed to have a sharpened edge, which is not really all that sharp. The handle on this one is plastic, but they do sell the ones that are still steel. When I served, I had the original military one, which was all metal. And this is a great option. This is a great tool. This tool right here, you can dig with it, obviously. You can cut with it. If you sharpen these, you could probably saw with it. I know there are companies out there that make a multi-tool out of this, and they call it all kinds of names, and the handle has like a spike on it and all kinds of crazy stuff. That's more of a one-tool option, I guess. But the thing about this is that it's a shovel. And I don't know if I want to carry a shovel. Now, I know there's a lot of, if you need to dig a cat hole to go take a poop, that's fine. If you're not doing major building processes, like if you're not building a cabin, you're not, making a camp or setup, you're probably not going to need this. But again, if I was in a bug out situation, I'd carry a shovel. A shovel has multiple uses. And the thing about a shovel is that it's very hard to make out into the field. Now, I know someone's going to say, well, you can cut down a log, you can hollow it out, you can do, yeah, okay. Or if I didn't want to spend 3 weeks making a shovel, I could just buy one off Amazon and call it good. So, that being said, that's another good chopping tool if you like. Now, for me personally, I'm not going to steer you in one way or another. I can just tell you that the 3 items that I normally would take. And this is for me in the Northeast, and if you get hurt about it, I apologize. So, I'm definitely taking this. All right, definitely. This is my folding knife. I'm definitely taking my belt knife. Okay. Now the belt, like I said, it's either going to be one of the 2 or both of them. All right, depending on how I feel. I'm definitely taking a saw. All right, if I have a chance, I'm going to take a saw. Definitely going to take a saw. I like the Baco Laplander because it's lighter, and it's been proven. And for my chopping device, if I want a large blade or large cutter, I'm going with the bolo knife. All right, so that's kind of how I feel. Now, I know I picked 4 items, but again, this is my video and that's what I like. When it comes to multi-tools, like I said, probably going to be in my pack. I'm not really going to carry it with me, but again, you could switch out if you like. So again, guys, thank you for watching the Summer of Knives 2017. If you have any comments, you can leave them down below. I really appreciate you guys watching. Stay safe out there. Talk to you soon.